Number 5. Tom and Jerry. Man, this episode is quite dark. In this episode of Tom and Jerry titled Blue Cat Blues, it shows Tom's failed relationship and all the heartbreaking details along with it. It starts with showing Tom sobbing on railroad tracks, waiting to get run over. It then skips to multiple scenes showing Tom literally head over heels for another cat, and then later shows another cat kissing Tom's love. He sees this and starts trying to buy gifts for her, and in the process he sells himself to slavery, spends his life savings, and gives an arm and a leg, all to get a flower, small diamond ring, and a car, to show up to her house in pure joy waiting to give it to her. But when he does, he realizes that the other cat has given her much better gifts every time. He eventually gives up and starts drinking his sorrows away, and ends up literally in a gutter, to be revived by Jerry to see his love driving away in the cat's car with a sign saying "Just Married" on the back. Jerry sees this and tells himself he's happy because his love is faithful and he doesn't have to go through what Tom has, but unfortunately the same thing happens to Jerry. He then joins Tom on the tracks, and then the episode ends. Number 4. Balloon Land. If I was a kid watching this at home, I'd definitely be asking some questions afterwards. It shows what goes on in Balloon Land and the invasion of the Pincushion Man, as ridiculous as it sounds. 2 balloon kids get blown up, born, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, it's a boy and a girl, and boys being boys, he acts all macho for the girl, and walks through, with her, the dangerous balloon forest with the Pincushion Man lurking about. The Pincushion Man comes out from behind a balloon rock and pins it, then proceeds to walk throughout the forest popping everything in sight. The couple of balloon kids end up discovering the Pincushion Man, and then he tries to pop them, but they run away. The Pincushion Man follows them into town and starts popping everything. To prevent this, the balloon kids tell what looks to be the sheriff or mayor or something about the situation. Upon being presented the news, he says "Holy smoke!" and starts to speak incoherent gibberish to send his army against the Pincushion Man. They eventually defeat the Pincushion Man by throwing what looks to be rubber and wiffle balls. Number 3. Pluto's Judgment Day. This episode starts off with Pluto chasing a cat around and into Mickey's house. Mickey stops the fight between the 2 animals, which honestly makes no sense considering the cats love to eat mice. Pluto sits there while Mickey berates Pluto about chasing the cat, and says he'll have enough on his Judgment Day. While sleeping near the fireplace later that night, a cat in Pluto's dream entices Pluto to chase him, and leads him to what looks like to be the entrance to hell. When Pluto slides down the entrance, he gets chained up on all 4 legs, his tail, declared public enemy number 1 by the cats, all while everyone is chanting, "We want Pluto." Anyways, Pluto has a crazy trial showing his victims, one being ran over by a steamroller because Pluto chased him under it, and the other has something called dog shock, which looks like PTSD for cats. They later sentence Pluto and he gets burned alive, but fortunately he wakes up and realizes it's all a dream. Number 2. Chicken Little. Here we have another film from Disney, but this time it's Chicken Little with a little bit of propaganda mixed in. It starts off with an introduction of all the characters and finally makes its way to Foxy Loxy, an analogy for Hitler. He sees the whole chicken town and a couple other things, like the farmer's shotgun. After this, he decides to pull out his hefty psychology book, or Mein Kampf, because he starts reading direct quotes from it, including his big lie propaganda technique. Foxy Loxy then tricks Chicken Little into thinking the sky is falling, and he runs and tells everyone. But luckily enough, the chicken version of Winston Churchill shows up, evident by his figure and cigar in hand, to tell everyone that the sky isn't falling. But it doesn't work because Foxy manipulates the entire chicken town and tricks them into his cave to eat every single one of them. Foxy then says, "Don't believe everything you read, brother." And then it ends zooming in on Chicken Little's yo-yo, with not a single chicken alive in sight. Number 1. Sesame Street. In the 66th episode of Sesame Street, Kermit the Frog gives everyone a lecture about feelings, using pieces of styrofoam with drawings of faces on them. He starts out with a sad face, and then the good old Cookie Monster eats the mask. Then, Kermit the Frog turns into a damn sociopath, and starts to make fun of him, calling him a big dumb stupid monster, threatens to tell his mom and all of his friends what he did, and that he's horrible. The Cookie Monster immediately feels sad and begs Froggy, or Kermit the Frog, to stop and that he's very sad. In the end, Kermit forgives the Cookie Monster, all the while his emotions change from highs to lows like a roller coaster. Maybe Kermit the Frog needs anger management. Also, this episode was recently released on DVD with a disclaimer saying adults only. But that's none of my business.